And good morning and welcome to this latest Walls and Ceilings video. My name is John Wyatt, editor of Walls and Ceilings. And today I am joined by Jeff Baxley. Jeff is the president of Dittemore Insulation Contractors, Inc., located in Anaheim, California. Good morning to you, Jeff. How are you today?
Fantastic. Thanks for having me on, and really appreciate the opportunity to talk with you. How are you guys doing today?
Yeah, we're hanging in there, and we're definitely excited to be joined by our latest cover stars here. So, Jeff, it's been a while since our last interview, so I want to ask, how has this year started off for you since we're basically 2 months and change into the year?
It's starting off fantastic right now. A lot of opportunities popping up. I'd say bigger projects are starting to show up, and we're making good headway. A lot of people are interested in to start seeing contracts moving. Last year, we went kind of through this lull where people weren't sure what was going on with construction and the economy, especially how offices were going to be built. And I see a better confidence from architects and owners, and good opportunity going forward.
So, beyond what you're just explaining with the lull, what companies does the company face, I suppose, today? Are there any new problems that you say are unique to 2020, or at least within the last quarter?
Well, I say the biggest problems outside of the projects moving forward last year was, I think you're seeing that in all industries, is access to materials. That's a big problem, and that actually rolled over to this year too. And I would say this year's even tougher than before. So we have purchasing that we do direct from manufacturer, Johns Manville. They've done an excellent job keeping us in tune with the market and supplying us with our needs. But if you're going through distribution, that's definitely a tougher challenge this year. So when the supply and demand starts to kick in, the demand's going up, supply's going down, and you can already see an upward pressure pricing that's not looking very pretty going into this year. That's going to be our biggest challenge this year. One, getting the material, and two, making sure it works within our pricing structure. That's our biggest challenge.
As a cautionary measure, does Dittemore Insulation, do you guys have a warehouse where you're able to stock material?
We do. We have a warehouse. We're running about 1.5 million to about 2 million square feet on stock at a time. And that keeps us able to pull from our warehouse stock to supply all our projects currently for a handful of months. And then we utilize our manufacturers to supply in between. That way we can pull, if a customer calls today, we can supply tomorrow.
So, Jeff, when you're on a project, what contractors do you work most closely with during your phase? And my guess is a lot of times subcontractors can't work much around you until your company's work's completed, or at least certainly in a designated area. Is that the case, or?
That would be perfect world. That's how we would like it to go. But reality of construction, there's bumps and bruises along the way. What we work with, we set up team meetings with the other trades. We get together, see what their needs are, what our needs are. Sometimes I need to have them complete some things, but not all the way through, so I can get other portions done. So we'll start working some teamwork and bouncing back and forth. They'll prepare some things for me. I'll prepare some things for them. We'll supply what we call like priority areas. So it might not be a production area done for me, but they ask a favor for me to handle a few little spots so that they can move forward. And likewise, I ask the same thing. Call it a team effort.
Yeah, it sounds like a perfect dance that takes a lot of coordination from all parties, but it sounds like you have that under control.
So, yeah, we've been through it a few times.
Since you and your wife, Sarah, took over the business, I believe that was in 2018. You say business has grown 50% each consecutive year. Do I understand that right? And
that is
okay. Any ideas what accounts for that growth?
Well, two things were driving that. The first one, we added a handful of specialty trades on top of the installation. So now we do fireproofing, that's cementitious, and we do intumescent fireproofing. We have a full line department for fire stopping. That'll go for perimeter, head of wall, penetration type fire stopping. And now we've introduced the weather barrier side, which is starting to cross over into waterproofing and that sort of specialty. That's driven, one, by trades that we can grow with, and then the other side was we did it with team members too, finding the right people, the key players to help us grow that. They built our customer base. Internally, we built the trades that they could sell off of that. And together they came, the whole plan was both angles comes together and fuels that growth.
So when you say weather barriers, I believe you mean weather resistant barriers and air barriers, those type of products.
Correct.
Yeah. So that's a niche market you began basically when you took over from, was it the brothers, Don and Dave, or?
Don and Dave, they chugged along until 1998 and they retired. Craig Childress came in, took over for 20 years there. And in that time frame, I came into the business. He brought me up and mentored me through the management style and grow into taking over. And that's when he had his style of things being done. And then I added a few little tweaks to it, and we're really able to grow off of that. And on the sad news, Don had just passed away a couple weeks ago. So we were left with one of the brothers. I believe he was 91. He had a full life.
Well, we're sorry to hear that, but boy, what a legacy to leave behind. And I'm sure the temptation was there to change the name to Baxley Insulation. So was there a reason that you retained the Dittemore name?
Yes. Ego aside, yes, it was tempting to change that name, but we left it the same primarily because the company was founded in November of 1968. So we're going on into we're 53 years going on to our 54th year, and I couldn't change after that many years. That name's got to stick around. It has a legacy. It has a established name. It's known. And it's known for its quality. It would be foolish to change it just off of ego alone to change it to my name. So I'm proud to keep it as is.
Well, I'm sure they're proud and thankful as well for you to have done that.
Yes.
So in extension to basically that 50% consecutive growth year over year, do you have a sales force, or is it just bidders and estimators? How does that work? I mean, you have to actively pursue things, don't you, to have that type of growth?
Correct. So we got a side where we have employees that handle like business development, outreach with new customers, maintaining relationship. We also have estimators that are handling the costing and pricing of the projects. And then we move into project management once the project's sold. Typically, you would keep each department separate, but we find it actually really conducive to have every team member still involved throughout the whole project. So the business developer, the sales guy will still be in touch with the key component or key players on the project. The sales guy will be involved too, the estimator, and the project manager will all be in tune. That way, anytime someone's made a promise during the whole sales approach, contracting, phasing, anything that's been said will be remembered, and we will honor that even if it's not on paper. And everyone's involved. Our words are bond there.
So dare I say, a lot of your business practice is done old school with a business shake in philosophy?
Yes.
Okay.
We're a handshake type.
Well, that seems to be working out for you. Let me ask you, California had some pretty stringent I suppose restrictions regarding, what was going on with COVID and all that. That seems to be lifted piecemeal, like day by day, things are opening up. Was that a big restriction for you, or did that not really impact you guys?
It had a pretty substantial impact on us. So the biggest thing was our previous office, we were growing at a clip, we were outgrowing space. So we were pushing that 6-foot guideline internally for everyone's office space. In that time frame, we did move to a bigger office. We're in compliance with that now, and everyone's just happier with more space anyway. The bigger problem we had was actually in the field. So through LA's Unified School District, they implemented everyone had to be vaccinated on the job, regardless of where the project is, if students were there, It didn't matter the phase of the project. If you were on school property, you had to be vaccinated. So we had to have a lot of conversations with the team members of how we can accomplish this. That I understand each team member has their own values and ideas and beliefs, and we had to really tread that lightly on. I didn't want to come across as a right or wrong type scenario. So what we did was we offered to the employees if they wanted to see a doctor, or we'd bring a doctor in if they wanted to talk to them, if they wanted a nurse to talk to, start giving them some advice so that they could find out what's the right decision for them. And through that whole process, everyone pretty much got on the same page, and now we're compliant pretty much across the board.
That kind of somewhat segues into this next question, pretty much my final question here. But you say one of your greatest achievements as a company has been assembling just a team that really works together seamlessly. So when we last communicated, I believe you had mentioned you had approximately 110 workers. Is that still the figure today? And do you want to grow this staff size, or do you like the numbers, how it's working now, meaning how many employees you have?
Actually, yes to both those questions. I do like the size. It's manageable. It's working good. We have great team members. Do I have interest in growing? If that's what the market has and that's what our customers are looking for, if they're looking for more trades, bigger projects, and if our customers are expanding, we'll go along with that too. We have no problem at the same time. The team members are definitely the key there. And our approach is when we have new hires come in, everyone here gets a voice. So that person's got to click with every other person within that office. We don't want any friction or personalities that just don't click, because that could really draw us down real fast. So our real key is to make sure that that person's compliant with the job, qualified, but also fits in personalities. And it works pretty good. So we do Friday lunches and everyone gets together, conference room, we do lunches and keep it pretty low key.
And is the labor shortage, is that still a big issue?
Yes and no. There are people coming in and applying. We do have access to a labor force. Our biggest problem is qualified labor. I can find a lot of unqualified labor. I've got no problem with that. Finding the right people is pretty big challenge right now. We use referral programs through the employees that we have in the field and in the office. That usually I find is more successful. We've tried using HR companies and so forth, and I just haven't been real happy with the results. I prefer, if we're going to be a handshake style company, we're going to use referrals and word of mouth also that way. And it's worked. So I'm kind of if it's worked, don't fix it type.
Well, it definitely sounds like it's working, and we're certainly proud to feature you on the cover of Walls and Ceilings, and I believe you made her top 25 installation contractors. So I would like to give a shout out to Michael Quart, who brought us together. So Michael is the executive director of the ICAA, and it sounds like you've known Michael for some time now, but again, he definitely deserves some credit in bringing us together. Jeff, it's been so great chatting with you, and we thank you for your time chatting with us today. And for all of you listening out there, thank you so much, and join us again real soon. Thanks again, Jeff.
Hey!